ladies and gentlemen. Just thought I'd start a whole another series deal type thing. Basically, it's going to be me comparing either two good guys from a game, two bad guys from a game, or just two entities. In this case, you can see it's Alduin from the Elder Scrolls V, Skyrim, and then you have the main bad guy, well, one of the main bad guys from Dragon Age, or I don't know, I think how you say it is Earth Emil. I think that's how you say it, but anyways, most people just refer to him as the Archdemon. Now, I'm going to compare two things that are very similar, or at least equal in terms of their general power, in terms of the games that they're in. Alduin being like the direct descendant of a dragon god, and the Archdemon being a quote-unquote god that can only be killed by a special means. But the same kind of applies to Alduin in a way. So basically, I'm going to talk about one and talk about the other. And then basically, you guys are the ones that really decide who was better between the two that I compare. And hey, we may end up with a three-way struggle at some point. A four-way struggle, it could go as many as possible, although I doubt I'm ever going to go above four. But anyways, to start with, I'm going to kind of talk about some things that make these guys, really powerful, really strong, and why maybe you should go for this one or why you should go for that one. Now, many of you know Alduin's the main bad guy, or one of the main bad guys in Skyrim. Well, actually, he is kind of the main bad guy, considering that the whole Stormcloak Imperial storyline is kind of it's kind of gray. It's just like who do you sympathize with more, as opposed to who's the evil. But Alduin's basically the direct descendant, the first dragon to ever, fly across Skyrim or Tamriel in general. And, he comes back and he's been prophesized to be the one that brings about the end of the world. And he makes his comeback and the whole world's freaking scared shitless. Granted, nobody knows he himself is back, but once, you tell them, oh, hey, by the way, Alduin's back, they all go, oh my god, it's the end times, oh, panic, run, scream, etc. And you go through all this questing just to be able to beat him, and when it comes down to the final fight with him, granted I thought it was kind of rushed, but that's just my opinion. You have these three other basically dead angel type dudes that had fought him before when they were human back on Tamriel. They join with you, and then you fight him in basically the Nord version of heaven. And the three or the four of you go at him, and I think your companion's with you also. You go at him, and he is by far the hardest dragon you will fight in Skyrim. I don't care what difficulty you play on, he is the hardest dragon to take on. Unless they decide to do a DLC where you take on fucking, I believe the dragon god's name is like Akatosh or something. Unless they make... Excuse me, I need a drink. Dry throat and all that. But unless they make a game where you fight him, I doubt that, there's going to be a dragon tougher than him on Skyrim or any other... Elder Scrolls game. Sorry, I went brain dead there for a second. And then some things that this guy did. He fought, or basically he's one of the main guys that enslaved or got the whole dragon cult deal started. So he had basically a bunch of humans following him and other dragons because people revered them as gods and all that stuff. And then when he comes back, he starts bringing all them back to life, and he starts bringing other dragons back to life. Basically, this guy is capable of bringing other dead dragons back to life. You kill one, he can just res that sucker right back up. Unless the Dragonborn kills it, because the Dragonborn absorbs the soul into him or herself. And so Alduin can't really do much with a corpse that soul is basically missing. So, he has that. He has an army of undead at his command. He basically has a lot at his disposal, and he's bringing about the end times. But, of course, he meets his end when the Dragonborn fights and kills him. Not a whole lot really, he didn't really accomplish a whole lot that I saw in Skyrim, and I am not totally familiar with the Elder Scrolls deal, so I'll kind of rely on some of you guys to bring about the better points that this guy, or the better things that this guy is in. Well, not better, but better in the sense that, oh yeah, he's better than the Archdemon, he can whoop the Archdemon's ass, no problem. Moving on to the Archdemon. Well, the Archdemon, there's plenty of them, but this is a specific one, i.e. the main bad guy of Dragon Age, or one of, if you consider Loghain to be another main bad guy, or what's-his-face, How to be another main bad guy. It's whatever, but he is one of them, one of the at least three. So basically what the Archdemon can do is he has the entire Darkspawn horde at his command, or hers, there could be female Archdemons. But basically this dragon, or false god, or whatever it's supposed to be, commands the Darkspawn, because the Darkspawn run around like, oh, we need to find our Archdemon to lead us again. They find him, and he comes out, he's all corrupted and stuff, and he basically starts, getting the Darkspawn organized, giving him direction, a sense of where to go, what to do, how to do it, and all that other stuff. And if you play the Darkspawn DLC of Dragon Age, as bad as it was, it kind of gives you an idea of how the whole thing functions. He basically, speaks to the Darkspawn, go do this, go do that. And, the only one that can truly defeat an Archdemon is a Grey Warden, because if your regular Joe delivers the killing blow, then his soul's basically just going to bounce to the nearest tainted organism, be it a blight, a bear that's been afflicted by the blight, another Darkspawn. It jumps to a Grey Warden because a Grey Warden's soul, or something about the Grey Warden cancels out. I haven't played Dragon Age in a while, so I forget how exactly it works out. I just know it has something to do with its soul trying to jump into the Grey Warden, and the Grey Warden's soul and its soul just kind of can't mix together, so basically it just cancels out both life forms. So basically the Warden and the Archdemon both die permanently, can't come back, etc. And the Archdemons have pretty much been one of the main reasons of all the destruction going on in the Dragon Age world. The first one nearly wiping pretty much all existence out, and then the other ones following it still doing a lot of damage. And then, you have this one in the Dragon Age game where it basically nearly takes out Ferelden, and, thanks to Loghain, it gets a little worse than it could have been. The Blight could have ended right then and there, but nope. Loghain has to go and do his whole thing. So you can say that the Archdemon kind of had a bit handed to him, but otherwise I think, it would have taken more than what they had in the first place. It would have taken unifying all these different groups and races together in order to bring down this Archdemon. And it also comes at a price. Whoever kills the Archdemon is inevitably going to die unless something happens. I'm not going to say what, because there are some of you that have not played Dragon Age. I'm kind of guessing. But with Alduin, it's kind of obvious what happens to him. I'm just saying. But anyways, between the two, if I had to give my own personal bet, I would probably go with the Archdemon, in all honesty. I see it as more of, you could have the Draugr and the Darkspawn just going head-to-head, but the Darkspawn are a little more sophisticated, a little bit smarter, and they have a little bit more powers, at their disposal. Yes, the Draugr have the dragon shots, but you got to account for all the magic that the Darkspawn have, in addition to some of the other ones like the Ogres. The Ogres could probably destroy a crap ton of the Draugrs, before they finally get, hit the dust. But yeah, taking into consideration, Alduin does have an entire flight, or flights of dragons at his command, but, who's to say that would or wouldn't win the war for him, because the Archdemon could basically not die. I mean, I'm not going to throw it out as a reason like, oh, well, he just can't die because, none of the Draugr, none of the dragons are fucking Grey Wardens. They'd have to go through the whole joining process. Can you imagine a dragon going through the Grey Warden process? That'd be interesting. It'd probably take about a gallon of the blood for it to, kind of balance out or something, or more than a gallon. What am I saying? It'd probably take about a water tower's worth of the blood. But just part of me says that the Archdemon would probably win. But if there was a fight between the two entities, that would be one hell of a fight. Without a doubt, that would be one hell of a fight. Not a whole lot else to say. I mean, this is more about what you guys have to say, or you guys and gals have to say about these two than what I have to say. I'm just kind of saying, here's the box. Tell me what you think of the box. It's kind of what it is. Or I have these two boxes. Tell me which one you like more. Which one do you think's better? That's basically the whole point of these videos. I'm going to do more of them. Another one I'm probably going to do is like Nemesis versus Ustanek. Which one do you think's better there? Or Leon versus Chris in terms of the characters. It's not necessarily their physical or general powers. It could just be who is the better character, who is a better person as a character. And if I'm comparing two characters, they're at least going to be in the same genre. Otherwise, there's really no point in comparing them. Like if you take a action shooter character and compare it to like a RPG character, there's no point, because an RPG character by default has to have more depth than an action shooter character. I think comparing the two is just stupid, and it doesn't accomplish much of anything. An example of that would be like comparing Link to Master Chief. You really can't compare the two. I mean, besides the fact that they are kind of action heroes, but Link has more depth than Master Chief. You just know Master Chief likes to go and kill some fucking what are those things called? Not the alien, not the Covenant. I know what they're called, but the Flood. That's it. You got the Zerg, you got the Flood, you got the Necromorph, you got all these fucking alien races that can do the exact same thing. But anyways, so yes, tell me what you guys think. Who is better, the descendant of the dragon god Alduin, or the be-all, destroy-all archdemon Earthmeal, or Ethmeal, blah, blah, blah. I'm just going to give up. I can't pronounce his name. Is it so hard to make a simple fucking name? Just a simple name. It can have a nice little back meaning, but come on. Or maybe I'm just making it harder than it is. I don't know. Anyways, folks, I'm going to get this video uploaded before it gets too big or anything like that. So, I will see you all very soon.